Hey everybody, Don Georgievich here at Job Interview Tools. Today I want to give you one simple resume hack that is going to get your resume noticed by employers. I mean, that's what you want, right? You want employers to see your resume and give you a phone call. Exactly. So, how do you do that? Well, if you want to know how to hack your resume all the way to the top of the stack, like this video, and we'll dive right in. Now, biggest problem with resumes. Biggest problem resumes have is they are so diluted with information. That means they have good information and they have irrelevant information. And from an employer's standpoint of view, they have to sort through your resume and filter out all the good stuff that's attracting and then all the stuff that they don't really care about. So that time where you were a baker in a bread shop doesn't really matter when you're interviewing for a software programmer, or when you were a real estate agent and now you're interviewing for an account executive position or a finance position. It's irrelevant experience. So how do you hack your resume so that an employer finds it intriguing, so that your resume is magnetic? I'll tell you, it's really simple. You get a copy of the job description. That's the part that you find in the online ad that talks about the job. And what you do is you go through this job description. You print it out. Works best if you print it out on paper. Go through it line by line and get yourself maybe 4 or 5 different highlighters and a pen and start going through and highlighting what's most important to them. Go through and highlight all the parts of the job description that sound like they're the most important to the employer, like the skills or the experience that they are looking for the most. Now, after you get all that, you make a second pass through the job description and you start looking for repeating patterns. And what I mean by repeating patterns is when they say something in the job description, like they're looking for leadership skills, you highlight that. And then you look for another instance of that, but where they say it a different way. Maybe instead of saying leadership skills, they say leadership abilities or the ability to assemble a team of people. And you start highlighting all these areas where they start repeating. Where they start repeating, those are the things that are most important to them. Now, if they talk about building a team, or if they talk about coaching others, or if they talk about sharing knowledge with the team or mentoring others, that shows that they are looking for mentorship abilities in the candidate that they hire for this position. That's important to them. So you have leadership, mentorship, and then you just go through and you find out all the different repeating patterns. And you can only do this. See, the trick here, the hack here, is you have to print out the job description. You can't just look at it online and say, okay, I can see this. You got to print it out. You got to print it out, and you got to look at it, and you got to mark it up with a highlighter, with a pen, circles. I mean, when I do this for clients, because clients will send me their resume and they'll send me a job description. They'll say, hey, Don, do these two match up? So if I send this resume in, is it aligned with this job description? And I will just go through. I'll go through the job description. This takes me a couple hours to do because I'm looking at all the skills on the resume, and I'm basically drawing lines from the resume over to the job description. Do they meet all these certain areas? And if they don't, I'll send it back to them and say, hey, you got nothing on here. This resume is going to fall on deaf ears. So get the job description, go through it line by line. And then, after you find out everything that's most important to them, connect that back to your resume. Now, maybe some of those things that they're looking for that are most important to them, maybe you did those in an old job. Maybe a job, from 5 or 10 years ago. And maybe that job happens to be on your second page. Well, that's no good because the first page of your resume is the one that's the most important. So if you have a skill or an experience or an accomplishment that's heavily related to what they're looking for and it's on the second page of your resume, you need to take that out. You need to move it over on the first page. And you're like, well, how do you do that, Don? Well, let me tell you. At the top of your resume, you should have a section called professional summary or summary. And under this section, this should be the first thing you have right underneath your heading where you have your name and your address and your phone number and your LinkedIn profile. You should have another section right under there that says professional summary. In the professional summary, you list maybe 5 to 8 bullet points. of the most important things that you have done, accomplishments preferably, most important things that you have done that are related to what they are looking for in the job description. That's the hack. That's the hack right there. So you're taking everything that they're looking for in the job description, you're finding places, experiences where you have that, and you're creating accomplishment statements, and you're putting those in your professional summary. That way, when they read your resume and they're going through here, the first thing they read is your professional summary. And you know what? Your professional summary is loaded with skills and experiences and accomplishments that they are looking for. And what's going to happen is they're going to be like, wow, we got a winner here right off the bat. Within 5 to 7 seconds of reading your resume, they are going to connect with you, and they're going to take your resume and they're going to put it in the A pile instead of the trash. And I tell you, that's the biggest problem with people. You've heard of the 7-second rule? A recruiter or employer can look at your resume and in 7 seconds know whether they want to interview you or not. But if you have all of your best accomplishments at the bottom of your page or on the second page, you are not going to get called for the interview. And I'll tell you, that's a problem I hear all the time. People call me up, they're like, hey Don, I sent my resume and I have everything they're looking for, but they didn't even call me. And that's because they have it scattered out throughout the resume. It's all mixed in with a whole bunch of stuff that is irrelevant to what that employer is looking for. So that's the key. Take the job description, take all the good stuff that they're looking for, and understand it. Know what their needs are. Put yourself in their position. What are they looking for? What do they want? What do they need? And then go find places in your resume where you have those skills and put that in your professional summary at the top. And create an accomplishment statement out of it. Create an accomplishment statement that shows that you understand what they're looking for, that you have the skill set that they're looking for and that they need. And you talk about how you have this skill and what you've done with it and the results that you've achieved with it. See, you want your resume to flow. You want there to be continuity in your resume. And you don't want to dilute it with a lot of things that don't really matter to the employer. Like I said at the first part of this video, remove that real estate experience, remove that bread baker experience or that landscaping experience if you're interviewing for jobs that don't require those. So if you're interviewing for an account executive, a finance position, a software programmer, take off some of that old experience that's irrelevant because that dilutes your resume. It dilutes it. It thins it out. That means the employer has to sort through all these things that aren't relevant to what they're looking for. And you know what that means? It just means it's boring. It means your resume is boring to them and they don't want to read it. You have to make your resume exciting, appealing, attractive to them so that they want to read it, so that they can see in your resume that you are a solution to their problems. I guarantee you do that, your phone will ring all day long. Employers will call you like crazy. Up to maybe 50% of the time. You send out 10 resumes, you send out 10 highly targeted resumes like that, I would expect at least 5 of those employers to call you. At least 5. But you have to be relative to what their needs are. Otherwise, they're not interested in you. They're not going to want to call you. You have to connect with them. And that's the biggest problem. That's the biggest problem people have. And you know what most people do when they go job searching? You might be included in this. But they go on the online job boards and they'll send out like 100 resumes every day. And then they'll email me at the end of the week, say, Don, I sent out 500 resumes this week. Nobody has called me. And I say, well, did you send out 500 targeted resumes? They'd be like, no, I just took my resume and sent it out. I have all the skills they're looking for. You know what? That's not good enough. Everybody's doing that. 99% of the job seekers are out there clicking send, 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 send. And they're doing that 100 times a day. And you know what? You hear crickets. They hear crickets all the time. Nobody's calling them because they're just clicking and sending, clicking and sending. Be different. Be that sharpshooter. Take focus. Focus on the job description. Focus on what they're looking for. And present yourself as a real solution. Don't just send them the same resume that you're sending out to everybody else. Make them feel special. Write them a customized, personalized, heartfelt, meaningful cover letter that connects you to what they're looking for, connects you to their needs, so that they feel like you understand them, so that they feel like you're serious, that they feel like you're somebody that they want to meet, instead of everybody else who's just blasting resumes all over the place. I mean, an employer puts a job posting out, they're going to get 300 to 500 responses just like that. And you know what? 99% of those are garbage. It's all the people out there just hitting click send, click send, click send. And they know this. They know this. And that's why a lot of employers, they don't even want to post to the online job boards, because they just get nailed with resumes. They just get peppered with resumes all day long. And then for them, it's a lot of work because they have to sort through this giant stack of resumes that they got. And maybe, there's one or two diamonds in the rough there. Maybe. But it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work for them. And that's why they use the applicant tracking systems to help them automatically sort through their stacks of resumes that they get. But what I want you to do is make their job easy. First, understand that their job is hard, but I want you to make it easy for them. And write a targeted resume. Let them know that you have what they need. Now, you know how I told you about that professional summary and how you have it right underneath your heading? Right above this professional summary, you should create another statement, your objective statement, that connects your needs to the position. So if they're looking for a software programmer and maybe they're a hospital, you could put seeking a computer programming position in the medical industry. Connect what you are looking for to what they're looking for. Let them know that you want to be doing what they're looking for. Now, a lot of people, they're like, oh, objective statement, that's so old, that's so yesterday, nobody uses that anymore. But let me ask you this. If you're an employer and you are looking for and you're a hospital and you're looking for a computer programmer, and you're going through these resumes, and none of these resumes tell you what they're looking for, that means you have to read all of their experience, and then you have to figure out and say, well, I think they might be qualified for this. I don't know if they're looking for a computer programming position in a hospital, but maybe they are. So maybe I'll give them a call. It's a lot of maybes. Versus the woman or the guy who puts on the resume, I'm seeking a computer-based Java programming position in the medical industry. Bada bang, right there. That's a solid connection. That makes me want to call that person before I call anybody else, because they are looking for the type of position that I am offering. Does that make sense? Is that the best resume hack that you ever had? I hope so. If you think so, like this video. Now, if you want to go farther in writing your resume, I've got a great guide here. It's called the Resume Masterpiece. And I don't take that lightly. This guide's been around for about over 10 years. Comes with over 100 different sample resumes. It's going to walk you through the entire resume writing process from start to finish. It's going to show you how to make a nice headline. It's going to show you how to create an objective statement. It's going to show you how to create a professional summary. It's going to show you how to write accomplishment statements so you can fill all of your work experience with nothing but accomplishment statements, so you look and sound awesome. This guide is going to show you, it's got a whole section of just power words to use. Because, anytime you write a statement, you should start off with a strong verb like, managed or motivated or delivered or, whatever it was. And there's a couple hundred words in there of power words, power adverbs that you can use at the beginning of a statement. And it's going to show you how to create really strong magnetic statements that make you sound awesome, because you are awesome. But you know what? There's a lot of people who are awesome, but they keep that bottled up inside. They don't let their awesomeness, their amazingness out. They just say, yeah, I can do things. Well, This guide is going to show you how to make that inner voice that you have a little bit louder. It's going to allow you to express yourself with words, more powerful words that are going to make you sound awesome, make you look awesome, make you sound like you have a past track record of excellence. See, it's hard. And for me too. It's hard to brag about ourselves. It's hard to brag about our accomplishments. We just say, yeah, I could do that. I've done that before. But you know what? You have to have a louder voice than that. You have to express yourself. Because you got to remember, you're interviewing for a job. You're sending out resumes. You're competing against hundreds of other people. You need to express yourself. You need a louder voice. This guide is going to help you get there. It's going to show you how to write a very classy, tasteful, elegant, perfect resume that is going to resonate with an employer. At just one look at your resume, an employer is going to say, yeah, that's the kind of person that we're looking for. That's what we want. And you're going to be 1 out of 100. I mean, how are you going to compete with all the other people out there who are writing resumes? I mean, some people, they go hire resume writers. And now, to be honest with you, nothing against the resume writing industry, but there's a lot of resume writers out there that are just taking your information and just dumping it into a template. And they're not really putting any real effort into it. There are some resume writers out there that are awesome. I mean, if you're not spending more than $700 to $1,000 for your resume, you're probably not getting a top professional to do it. I mean, when I wrote resumes, I charged over $2,000 for a resume, and it would take me about 2 weeks. Other resume writers, they charge like $150, maybe $300. And you know what? You're getting what you pay for. Now, in this guide here follows the exact same framework I use when I write resumes for clients. And I charge at least $2,000. That's bare minimum. I mean, I'll be up to $3,000 or $4,000. Now, I don't normally write a lot of resumes anymore because it's a grueling, time-consuming process. And so that's part of the reason I created the Resume Masterpiece, because this guide follows the exact same framework that I use when I write those high-profile resumes. And I'll write them for anybody. I'll write them for executives, managers, programmers, dentists, doctors, doesn't matter. I've written hundreds of resumes. But this book is going to show you how I do it. Now, I'll tell you a little secret here. When I write resumes for clients, I still pull out this book. So if you hired me to write a resume that cost $3,000, I would basically pull out this book and I would go through it, and it's my guide to writing your resume. That's what's in here. Everything, all my experience, I've been writing resumes here probably over 20 years. So you're getting my 20 years of experience in this book. You can get this book. It's a $50 ebook download, or you can get the hard copy, and you can just, I'll ship that out to you in the mail. But either way, this guide is going to show you how to write your resume to attract employers. And that's the whole key, because the competition is so intense out there. I mean, remember how I said all those people, they're clicking, sending, sending 100 resumes every day? That's what you're competing against. And it's not a numbers game. Not a numbers game. You have to write a resume that is attractive, that's elegant, that meets the needs of the employer. You can't just keep sending the same one to everybody. Put some effort into it. Send 2 or 3 resumes a day, but make them targeted resumes instead of 100 untargeted resumes. Put some effort into it, and it shows. Like I said, guaranteed. You will get, if you write totally targeted resumes, you're going to get called 50% of the time. And then you know what? You're not going to be unemployed anymore, because you're going to have so many interviews that you need to go to. Because you have an awesome resume, you're going to get down to having 3 job offers. And I'm not kidding. I get a lot of people who come to me and say like, hey Don, you helped me out just a little bit too good. I have 2 job offers. What do I do now? I said, well, pick the one you want the most. They're like, well, I like them both. But I tell them, that's a good problem to have, isn't it? To have more job offers than you can handle. grab a copy of the Resume Masterpiece. So put a link for that down below. Get the book. It's going to help you. It's really, and like I said, it's a brain dump of my 20 years of resume writing experience. And it's going to show you how to take your resume, whether you have one or not. It's going to show you how to write one from scratch, or it's going to show you how to make the one you have better, stronger. It's going to help you shape it and mold it and get rid of all those things that don't add value to your resume anymore. All that garbage stuff that is irrelevant to an employer, stuff they don't want to hear. And it's going to show you how to just show everything that an employer wants to hear. That's going to make your phone ring. All right, my friend, if you like this video, you like this hack, go ahead and hit the like button for this video and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you in the next video. Good luck on your next interview. Take care now. Bye-bye.